in Lucknow was deep.
Namaste. At a time when the CCP is pushing its authoritarian strong state model as the only recipe for success globally, Prime Minister Narendra Modi made a strong case for democracy at the recently concluded UNGA. Citing his 20 years in governance, he confidently asserted that democracy can and has delivered. In this special series, we put to test the Modi model of governance. From unable to enable, with the promise of minimum government and maximum governance. Has the Modi model of governance actually lived up to the promise of development for all and appeasement of none? And most importantly, has his model of governance laid the foundations for an Atmanirbhar Bharat? It is not the government's business to be in business, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi, a departure from the Licence Raj and state-controlled governance era. Government's job is to enable, to facilitate, not to control and operate. That is the philosophy of the Modi model. But has he walked the talk? Let's find out.
This entire pipeline, national monetization pipeline, is talking about brownfield assets where investment has already been made, where there is a completed asset which is either languishing or which is remaining not fully monetized.
The National Monetization Pipeline, a defining moment in India's economic history. The 4-year program promises to unlock value in government assets and generate 6 lakh crore rupees, which will be channeled into infrastructure development. On the table are roads, railway stations, train operations, power lines, telecom towers, fuel pipelines, ports, airports. NMP is the latest milestone in a series of initiatives launched by the Modi government in unlocking India's potential. Among the first, of course, was the 3 most iconic letters in India's economy, GST.
IS 203, no nil. The bill, as amended, is passed by the required majority.
PM Modi showed the boldness to push through the legislation which has finally turned the whole of India into a single market, allowing free sale of goods across states. GST, hailed as the biggest tax overhaul since independence, has replaced several indirect taxes with a single regime. GST revenues have been steadily growing and currently stand at over 1 lakh crore rupees per month. India is a vast country with vast number of resources. Prime Minister Modi's governance ethos has always been driven by the intent to unlock the potential that inherently lies within. Unlocking India's potential via the National Monetization Pipeline, here are some of the indicative numbers or the expectations. By financial year 2022, the expectation is to raise about 88,000 crore plus. That should go up to about 1,62,422 crore by FY 2023, up to about 1,79,544 crore in FY 24. So this is accruals in each year. That's what the attempt is to raise. And finally, 1,67,345 crore plus in the financial year 2025.
There are all kinds of these odd regulations which God knows why they were introduced. I mean, in some cases, even when they were introduced decades ago, they probably made no sense. But they have festered along because nobody was willing to boldly go and break the shackles. And that is getting done. And we are now beginning to do some of the holy grails, so to speak. Whoever introduced the GST knew that there would be a phase where it would not work, where you had to fix it over time because it's a complicated system. Now, you took the risk. It didn't, in fact, work in the first few months. But then, after several iterations, I think everybody will agree it's a vastly improved on whatever the complicated system that used to exist before. I think the most important idea behind this idea of governance is the willingness to experiment and take risks. This is the most important thing, to basically break with the past. Just because something was done in a certain way all these years does not mean that you cannot try another way, even if it comes with some pain.
Every structure or model is as solid as its foundation. The foundation for a strong, robust economy is infrastructure. Right from his days as Chief Minister of Gujarat, Narendra Modi has made infrastructure the bedrock of his Vikas model. As Chief Minister, Modi earned fame through his Gujarat Jyoti Gram Yojana, which gave impetus to electrification and provision of 24-hour power supply to rural Gujarat. The state highways and ports witnessed unprecedented development under Modi as Chief Minister. This helped make Gujarat a leading hub for both agriculture and manufacturing.
તમે આખા ગુજરાતની 5 વખત પરિક્રમા કરો ને અને જેટલા કિલોમીટર થાય એના કરતા વધારે કિલોમીટરના કેબલ આ 10 જ વર્ષમાં આખા ગુજરાતમાં પાથર્યા છે અને પાથરીને આપણે સેવા.
Once he became PM, Narendra Modi has shown the same dedication towards infrastructure push. The International Energy Agency has called India's rural electrification push one of the greatest success stories. By 2021, India's average rural power supply improved to 22 hours per day. Pradhan Mantri Gati Shakti, the National Infrastructure Master Plan, seamlessly links road, rail, air and water transport. 34,800 kilometers of highways are being built under the ambitious Bharatmala Pariyojana. The Northeast has been connected by broad gauge rail for the first time ever. In fact, its rail infra push has been so comprehensive that India saw many milestones, including the first double-decker passenger trains, privately operated train services, and launch of high-speed train project. Meanwhile, the Udan scheme has ensured that every Indian can now take to the skies. After all, to build a new Bharat, you have to build infrastructure. So what are the building blocks of a Naya Bharat? Let's try and take stock of what's been done. 9,000 kilometers of road connectivity has been set up as part of the economic corridors. Then industrial corridors, about 8,715 crore rupees have been released for 11 approved corridors already. Rural electrification push, 44,896.3 crores have been sanctioned so far for 24/7 power for everyone. And under the PM Gati Shakti, this is a very, very ambitious project. 100 lakh crore will be raised to be able to connect 1,200 industrial sectors across the country. Northeast has also been connected. 3 state capitals have been connected by rail so far. 3 more will be connected very, very soon. 15 airports have also been set up under Udan in the Northeast itself.
One of the points we've been making is that if a building is made in 1916, it has a certain lifespan. Delhi is under a different seismic zone. What do you want? You want to wait till the building comes on your roof, falls on your head? You can't. So we are building not for now. These are buildings for the next 200 years. And surely every country, and this is the aspiration of a new India. Every country is entitled to do that. He came to office in May 2014. June 2015, all his flagship programs started. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Swachh Bharat. Swachh Bharat started even before that. And components of that are here. But the philosophy of the 2030 agenda or the Sustainable Development Goals is Antyodaya, to the farthest first, to those who are most in need. Reach out to them first.
पहले जब हम फेरी से या नाव से जाते थे तब नदी पार करने के लिए हम लोगों को बहुत समय लगता था. अभी लेकिन 1 घंटा में हम इस तरफ से उस तरफ जा सकते हैं, इस तरफ से लोग उस तरफ जा सकते हैं. इसीलिए बहुत आसान हो गए हैं.
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने उड़ान योजना से दरभंगा एयरपोर्ट को जोड़कर जिस प्रकार दरभंगा सहित पूरे मिथिला क्षेत्र को सपनों को एक नई उड़ान देने का कार्य किया है, उसके लिए हम करोड़ों मिथिलावासियों की ओर से उनको धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करते हैं.
The pandemic and the Pangong standoff made us realize that as a nation, we cannot depend on anyone. From zero PPE kits or testing swabs to becoming the biggest manufacturers of both, we did it in record time. As Prime Minister Narendra Modi pitched for an Atmanirbhar Bharat, the people showed the Prime Minister, we can.
दुनिया को विश्वास होने लगा है कि भारत बहुत अच्छा कर सकता है। सवाल यह है कि आखिर कैसे? इस सवाल का भी उत्तर है आत्मनिर्भर भारत का संकल्प।
The target is clear, a $5 trillion economy. And to achieve that, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has his path clear. Back in 2003, Modi as Chief Minister conceptualized the Vibrant Gujarat Summit to establish the state as preferred investment destination. Chief Minister Modi also oversaw creation of the first special economic zone in the state, which led to Gujarat achieving a record GDP growth rate of above 10%. This Gujarat story became the template for India's economic growth, propelling Narendra Modi to the Prime Minister's chair.
आज हिंदुस्तान के हर कोने में वोकल फॉर लोकल सुनाई दे रहा है और लोग हाथ लगाते देखते हैं।
Then Modi set out through initiatives like Make in India to encourage manufacturing. This helped India to jump to 63rd place in Ease of Doing Business Index in 2020. Although the COVID-19 pandemic and international economic downturn caused setbacks, India's economic fundamentals remain strong, as seen from the 20% GDP rebound in Q1 of financial year 2022. Under Modi government, India has also emerged as the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. This is thanks to key policy initiatives like Startup India, with a 10,000 crore funding pool which have made it easy for Indian startups to launch, operate and seek funds. Schemes like Skill India and Stand Up India have also been immensely successful. India's journey towards self-reliance has only begun. The road to an Atmanirbhar Bharat started with pandemic relief, with more than 20 lakh crore earmarked as aid around the pandemic and pandemic-related issues. Startup India, 4.7 lakh new jobs were created by 39,000 plus startups. Then, ease of doing business. India jumped 79 places up to 63 in the World Bank survey. As far as corporate tax is concerned, a long time demand, it is now at 15%, among the lowest in the world. The Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, over 9 lakh crore, has been put aside as Mudra loans since 2015.
I remember the PPE process. There was not an Indian soul who turned their back to the effort. And we decided collectively, there was no segregation that ek mantri hai, ya there's an officer, there's an industry partner, or there's a worker who sits there in a pandemic, in a shutdown, walking to a manufacturing facility, stitching up the entire PPE thing together, knowing that their own health is going to be challenged due to the exposure. They did that when the pandemic was new to our country. And those are the sacrifices and partnerships that at least I, in my experience as an administrator, will never forget.
नरेंद्र मोदी की इस योजना से बहनों को बहुत फायदा हुआ है कि बहनों को रोजगारी मिलती है, फिर तालीम में दिलवाती हूँ, पशुपालन की तालीम दिलवाती हूँ RCT से, इमिटेशन ज्वेलरी ने तालीम दिलवाती हूँ, अभी मैंने मिरोली में नर्सरी की तालीम दिलवाई और उस तालीम से बहनों उत्साह से नर्सरी का काम करने के लिए, वो गांव की जगह होती है ना गोचर की, उसमें बहनों सब तैयार हो गई कि हम गांव की जगह लेकर खुद हम अपना बिजनेस करेंगे नर्सरी का।
बहनें 100 रुपये 50 रुपये जो हर महीने बचत जमा करती है और बहन का कोई भी काम आर्थिक होता है तो बहन उससे लोन लेती है और अपना काम कर लेती है। बहनों ने जो फंड लिए उससे बहनों ने सिलाई मशीन खरीदी है, शाक लारी खरीदी है, कटलरी का सामान बेच रही है, ऐसे कई उद्योग छोटे छोटे कर रही है बहनें।
Not one for appeasement, yet unabashedly proud of his faith, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has worked towards realizing the dreams of crores of citizens. He has endeavored to trigger a cultural revival by marrying it effectively with the growth story. Ram Rajya in the true sense? Let's find out. Governance, rooted deeply in spirituality, has always been the ethos of Narendra Modi. When the Ram Janmabhoomi verdict of the Supreme Court paved the way for the construction of the long-awaited Grand Ram Temple in Ayodhya, the Prime Minister himself laid the foundation stone for the new temple. Once constructed, this temple will be the lasting legacy of his government.
आज पूरा भारत राममय है। सदियों का इंतजार आज समाप्त हो रहा है।
Over the last 2 decades, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has given high priority to the development of India's holy places. The Government of India launched the Prasad scheme in 2014 to enrich religious tourism. PM Modi's bid to restore the old glory of Somnath's temples is the latest in a series of projects launched under this scheme. This includes the remarkable facelift in his constituency of Varanasi. Kashi now boasts of a 6-lane road connectivity, a state-of-the-art airport, special trains like the Kashi Mahakal Express, upgraded ghats, and an international convention center. The Char Dham highway and railway projects will provide seamless connectivity to holy places in Uttarakhand. Prime Minister has also mooted the development of Badrinath Dham as a smart city. The goal for maximum governance is clear: usher in an era of Ram Rajya. A quick check. The Ram Janmabhoomi is expected to be open by December 2023 after the court cleared the way. The construction is on in full swing. 80 crore rupees has been spent in additional projects as far as the Somnath temple is concerned. Then the Badrinath temple, 424 crore has been spent for its beautification as part of the entire Char Dham Yojana. And Kashi Vishwanath corridor, the expansion project at a cost of 900 crore rupees. Swadesh Darshan, 13 projects have been sanctioned costing 764.85 crore so far. Prasad, this was the scheme launched in September 2020. 30 projects worth 919 crore were sanctioned. What previous governments perhaps lacked, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has more than compensated. As a public representative, he has always endeavored to inform people about the work done by his government and also listen to feedback. His focus on Samvad has yielded rich dividends as voters have repeatedly reposed their confidence in him.
मैं आज रेडियो के माध्यम से आपसे कुछ मन की बातें बताना चाहता हूं और मेरे मन में तो ऐसा है कि सिर्फ आज नहीं, ये बातचीत का अपना क्रम आगे भी चलता रहे.
When Mann Ki Baat was first aired on the 3rd of October 2014, it became one of the first multimedia outreach initiatives by an Indian Prime Minister. For the first time, the Indian public could periodically get a progress report from the Prime Minister, understand his ideas and interact with him.
I want to say to the Prime Minister how much I appreciate your strong personal commitment to strengthening the relationship between these two countries.
Even global leaders like former US President Barack Obama, the Nightingale of India Lata Mangeshkar have been special guests on the show. Mann Ki Baat is only one highlight in a long list of mass contact programs initiated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi during his tenure as head of government. As Gujarat Chief Minister, he had launched the statewide attention on grievances by application of technology, or Swagat, which allowed for direct communication between citizens and himself. Swagat morphed into Pragati, or proactive governance and timely implementation, a portal along the same lines for the central government, which was launched in 2015. Under the Modi government, social media platforms have become channels for grievance redressal for citizens. Various ministries and public institutions regularly monitor their social media accounts and address citizens' queries and grievances in real time. The government regularly uses the MyGov platform for public consultations and suggestions on policy making, including the union budget. The Prime Minister also invites suggestions for major speeches like his Independence Day address. To listen to the people and to keep them informed, an important aspect of the Modi model of governance. Effective governance also requires effective communication of the steps that have been taken. So what all has been done under Samvad? Mann Ki Baat, can reach out to 1.23 crore Indians every time that broadcast happens. 10 million plus downloads on Android of the Narendra Modi app itself. MyGov platform has 197.73 lakh registered members already. 71.4 million followers on Twitter. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has more than 46 million plus followers on Facebook. Instagram, 60 million plus followers, and there is regular communication with these followers on all the platforms.
The entire nature of our public communication changed. It started with very small issues. I remember of the Prime Minister using the digital mediums in a manner which was extremely morale boosting for all diplomats. If you are a young, small diplomat and in a small mission in far away from India, mostly we think everybody's forgotten about us. But here you suddenly have that what you are doing as an activity is being highlighted by your tallest leader. Just imagine the impact it has on the morale of those working. President Obama, when he was invited to be the chief guest for India's Republic Day, the two of them, that is Prime Minister, extended the invitation on the social media or the digital platform, and President Obama responded to that on the digital platform. Again, these are all new sort of efforts which we haven't traversed in the past.
With that, it's a wrap of this edition. Next up, we test Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his governance model on his commitment to Bharat. Bye for now.